Welcome to our bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Raila Odinga submitted his papers to the IBC and was approved. And there is just something I've realized that as a new team have mastered. It is called the art of capturing, or rather of getting media attention. The coverage started from morning when he left current residence to attend the church service in St. Stephen's Cathedral. Then he went to IBC, from IBC to Langata rally, and he was going to Langata symbolically because Langata is the first, Langata is his constituency. That is where he was serving as a member of parliament before it was split to Langata and Kibera. Then he flew to Nakuru. So when Raila was going, there is a question that, of course, most of us were looking at, whether he's going to break his silence over the complaints that Kenya Kwanza team have been leveling against IBC. They have complained of IBC of maybe internal factors that are working to interfere with elections at the apex body of elections management. It's a very emotive claim that recently it even emerged when IBC said that the voters register, that they raised some red flag that there was illegal transfer of voters. Kenya Kwanza team carried that narrative and were really complaining that there is data is interfered with by the national government. In that, he pointed out 10 questions to IBC. I want us to go through those questions briefly. Then I'll try also to look at why do you think Raila opted to address the IBC in terms of these issues pertaining to elections, even though for better part of his campaign time, Raila spent for the better part of this year, Raila has not been talking about IBC and election management, and that is something that has been causing a fever in his competitors, because this is a man that would raise the flag anytime there was a problem, or rather there was what he perceived, what he seemed not to be going well at IBC. Number one question Raila asked is electronic identification of voters and transmission of voters. This is what William Ruto was asking, and William Ruto asked about said about 1 million voters to have been transferred from the register. And I want to concur with Musheru that if 1 million people are honestly deleted from the register out of 22 million, that is a very significant number. That is a very big number that will not go unnoticed. Even if you are to delete, then take that register, publish that register in Kenyan Gazette, then share it in the polling stations, that is a number that will not go unnoticed. Now, about voter identification of voters, it is actually biometric, even though IBC was calling for an amendment so that they allow complementary, in that when the KIMS kit is not working, they can go to the manual way, but that amendment did not see the light of the day in the National Assembly. Number two, Raila asked about the audit of voters register. The voters register had 22 million voters as of now, but it was submitted to KPMG, who are doing the audit. However, this is a question that is very significant now. The reason why, remember when Raila was saying some point back that there were some dead voters that were being resurrected. They come, they vote, and then go back to the grave. Those voters, they are normally resurrected at this level during this audit. So it is this time that they are just allowed, they're resurrected and they're allowed to be in that register and they're not removed. And so that is why he asked about that, and it was about the report by the audit, whether it is ready, and what is the complementary, or rather the draft of the final report of the voters register. I analyzed about his third aspect on the proposal to amendment of the elections general regulations. Now, this amendment was IBC was seeking to give returning officers powers at the constituency tallying center to have the powers to open a ballot box that has been sealed to remove wrongly placed materials at the constituency tallying center. I ask this question. This is a development that the person that was so much talking about this was the Lekina, and I don't know why William Ruto team they're not capturing that. So this will then make it ask something. Yeah? It will see them as people are just raising populist alarms. And they're not putting into consideration what is really the final details. This elections amendment regulations of 2012 is also where IBC wanted the commission to be given powers, exclusive powers, to appoint and employ elections management officials. This is the tallying officials, returning centers, returning officers, presiding officers, and all that, without the input of political parties. According to the current law, they're supposed to share that list with political parties 2 months, not 2 months, 14 days before they make it public, before they publish it in the Kenyan Gazette. So in that, it is bit of it's a plan of a stakeholder approach coming up with the returning officers, or rather appointment of the returning officers, because returning officers are focal personnel as far as election management is concerned. I talked about printing of ballot papers, how far, issues about logistics, especially in areas that are experiencing security issues like Kerio Valley and Elgeyo Marakwet, and that. Someone might challenge, why are leaders from areas that are affected with the security lapses are not even bothered, or they're not asking how the logistics or how the ballot papers are going to arrive there while security lapses are going on, whether how those things are going to affect elections. But someone will answer you that I can surely tell you. The guns might not get there, police might not get there now, but the ballot papers will arrive there. It's a very ironical scenario that we normally see. Stakeholders engagement there, then about election timeline. So that is just a bit of what Raila Odinga spoke about. In this video, I wanted us to just answer three questions, or rather give three explanations why Raila Odinga opted to ask those questions. Those questions were very important. Remember, it is at this time, even yesterday, William Ruto showed confidence in IBC, but of course they raised the question about 1 million voters that were deleted from the voters register. Kindly subscribe. Number one, Raila wanted to express vigilance, to commission that they're also vigilant on what they're doing, because he's been criticized that despite the fact that he's a reform candidate, a candidate whose candidature is been anchored on reform agenda, how will it be that maybe there's some things that are not auguring well, or rather are not going on well at the commission, but he cannot comment, or rather he is not bothered about it? That is something that will be there because there is a perception that Raila is getting support from the deep state, simply because of the face of Uhuru Kenyatta in Azimio la Umoja. But then this was the best opportunity to show vigilance and also say that, look here, I'm also concerned about this. But it was also to express confidence, and confidence in the manner that the two questions that he answered, the two questions that for me shows this. If you look at all those 10 questions, IBC gave an answer. IBC responded on each and every, and there is nothing that is causing an alarm. What this will show is that it's giving an opportunity for the commission to clean their name, or it's giving to tell Kenyans, when these questions are asked about the register, about the amendment that is in National Assembly, about the ballot papers and all that, the security during elections. It gives the commission an opportunity to save image, because again, with the 1 million voters register claim, it was a big hurt on their end, because people feel like, okay, these guys are not ready. Then it was going to neutralize voter register claim. And this is one thing that the UDA luminaries are getting wrong. They're in order to raise the alarm on 1 million, whether it is there or not. But a claim of 1 million means there is some sort of a percentage. If it is 30% true, then 300,000 voters are missing. That is not, you can't say that is inconsequential. That's a big number. But with the approach that Raila Odinga gave it, it shows that election management is a bit of a holistic. You must give it a holistic approach. You don't just go for the voters register alone. There are other things. There are also the returning officers. And remember, there was a propaganda that majority of returning officers are from the two are from the support base of William Ruto. I can't confirm that. But these are also issues that emerged. But with now Raila giving 10 questions approach, it only means that you don't give one. Because what William Ruto team were doing, I think it was just a populist alarm to try to wipe people's emotions. That look here, 600 people, maybe this vote, this kura is now rigged and all that. That is just bit of their script. But what Raila Odinga team are trying to do here is to give it an approach where it is just about more of what can be done, but not just one single thing in terms of the voters register. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Raila Odinga's 10-point